Donald Trump and his co-president Elon Musk share a lot of things in common. Their corruption, their criminality, but also just how easy it is to get under their skin. And there are lots of Democrats who do just that. Of course, the standouts for Donald Trump, the two people who upset him the most, who can most easily just get him all riled up, is Barack and Michelle Obama. But for Elon Musk, it's clearly Governor Tim Walz. No one upsets him more. And we love to watch Tim Walz work. We'll love to watch him do that. And he did it again last night in an interview on MSNBC when he not only shredded Elon, but dropped an election bombshell on Donald Trump, giving him the news he has been fearing and he's kind of panicking around. We are going to get into all of it. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we can get into what this devastating news is for Donald Trump that Tim Walz dropped on him, I want to hear a little bit of this interview because it sets it up so perfectly.
Let me ask you about Wisconsin last night. You know, you had this, you were in Wisconsin ahead of this race. Susan Crawford, who was sort of endorsed by progressive, center-left Democratic Party. It's a nonpartisan race, but she won by 10 points against the Trump-backed candidate. You said that to give you a little boost, you'd put the Apple ticker with the Tesla stock on your phone. And this really, Elon Musk got very upset about this. He genuinely seemed like emotional in an interview about this. I want to just play. He just really got in his feelings about this. I want to play this for you and get your response.
You had Tim Walz, who's a huge jerk, running around on stage with the Tesla stock price, where the stock price had gone in half. And he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do. What a creep. What a jerk. Like, who derives joy from that?
Are you a creep and a jerk?
Well, that's a badge of honor if he thinks I am. Look, it's not personal with him. It's a little bit personal. I don't want to be disingenuous. The guy does bother me. It's a little bit personal. But look, my beef on this is that this guy is out there crying about his portfolio and about stock while I'm making, a comment. And my mom's Social Security check this month is late. That he's attacking the portfolios of working Minnesotans and working Americans who've paid into these programs that he calls a Ponzi scheme. He's taking it and laughing with his chainsaw about destroying the lives and undermining things and institutions that make life better for Minnesotans. Of course, he doesn't care about these agencies because he has all this money. Can you imagine being the richest man in the world and taking offense that I said something about Tesla stock? Look, if I'm Donald Trump won Wisconsin. I'll give him that. But he's sharing his presidency in the White House and who knows what else with this guy who's a loser, who lost. This guy's really bad at this. He made the case that everything hinged on this. And I just want to give a shout out to the folks in Wisconsin, to Ben Wickler, to, of course, Justice-elect Crawford, and to the people of Wisconsin who you said this right, Chris. This was a referendum on, does democracy stand, or does oligarchy and a king make the difference? And this was a referendum on Elon Musk and, by extension, by Donald Trump. A 10-point win in Wisconsin is an absolute massacre. Remember, this was a 1-point race in November. So I am angry with this guy. I'm glad he's irritated with me. He's a bully. He's picking on people that can't speak up. He's undermining the basic tenets of this country, also that he can, an unelected oligarch run things. It's outrageous. And look, if Donald Trump wants to continue to hang around with him, I certainly think the DNC should think about hiring Elon Musk and send him to every race that we're in, because we will win. We will win.
Well, today we got this news, right? There's all this sort of whispering behind the scenes that Musk is going to go back to the private sector. He's going to leave the White House. This is NBC News. Trump told the cabinet members he'll leave his government role in the coming months. To your point about that, I mean, there was a race last night. There were 2 statewide races. There was a superintendent of educational instruction statewide race. Again, like the judicial race, nonpartisan. The Democrat won that by 5 points. The Musk race, the one where he's donning the cheese head and handing out the novelty checks and all eyes on me, he's the front face of it. It looks like he cost him 5 points. 5 points is a lot. Like, that's actually an impressive amount that you have repelled voters single-handedly. I haven't seen that really before.
Yeah, and I think, look, it's his toxic personality to begin with, but it's what you said was, and this is what's encouraging to me. This is what the big thing. Look, this judge didn't want to be in a partisan race. You can tell that Judge Crawford is not one of those people. This is about rule of law, but she had to because of that they made this the referendum, and it was very clear that as he thrust himself into the middle of this, it made a difference. But you're absolutely right, and I do think that race for state superintendent with Superintendent Underly, that's a big deal because her opponent was a Moms for Liberty person. So this was an attack on the idea of public schools, an attack and, advocating vouchers, book bans, things like that. So Wisconsin, the pinnacle swing state, did swing, and it swung hard in a direction of defending democracy, defending public schools, defending the rule of law. That should be encouraging. And I think the thing I have been saying, and the reason I'm out there, I'm doing these town halls, whether it's from Texas to Nebraska to Wisconsin, because those members of Congress are rightfully afraid to go and defend this because they knew that this was going to be the result, and now they're going to be tied to it.
Tim Walz said it right there at the end. Elon Musk has a toxic personality. Elon Musk is single-handedly swinging these races in the direction of Democrats, whether it be 2, 3, 4, maybe on the high end, 5 points is the swing just because Elon Musk showed up. He tried to buy the election, but his billions of dollars, not that he spent billions of dollars, but his billions of dollars backfired on him. That is going to be the case going forward. No one wants their vote bought by Elon Musk, I guess, except for the people who actually do want their vote to be bought by Elon Musk, but there are not enough of those people for it to be meaningful, especially with the result that we've seen in Wisconsin. And so that is the reckoning that Donald Trump is facing right now, that he's going to have to part with Elon Musk. And we see that in this article right here. Trump privately indicates Musk to step back from administration after government employee status expires. Musk's looming exit comes as some Trump administration insiders and many outside allies have become frustrated with his unpredictability and increasing view that the billionaire is a political liability. A dynamic that was thrown into stark relief Tuesday when a conservative judge Musk vocally supported lost his bid for a Wisconsin Supreme Court seat by 10 points. Now, sure, Elon might be leaving the White House. I don't actually think that's the case. I think he'll still have his office. I think he'll still be showing up. He wants to steal our tax dollars. That's the best place for him to do so. But Elon Musk has been very vocal that this devastating loss for him in Wisconsin is not going to be the end of him trying to meddle in our elections. He wants to be involved in the midterms. And if he wants to be involved in the midterms are going to look really bad for Donald Trump because we are going to carry this powerful anti-oligarchy message into 2026, and it's going to deliver us huge victories everywhere. We just saw it in Wisconsin. You don't think that after 2 full years of Donald Trump ripping apart Social Security and Medicaid and the most essential programs in our government to finance a big tax cut for Elon and his rich buddies that people won't want to vote against him even more? I know that is going to be the case, especially because Elon is not the only one bringing in this economic hardship. It is also Donald Trump's stupid tariff plan, which is, of course, affecting governors across the United States trying to manage their state. And Tim Walz spoke more to that in this clip right here.
Right, and I think here in a week or so, I'm going to be up in Toronto meeting with some of the premiers as we talk about this. Look, they are our largest trading partner, followed by Mexico. These are folks that we have had relationships since the founding of Minnesota. It matters greatly, and what we understand is that these are fair trade deals that were negotiated fairly. And the real irony of this is the folks who supported Donald Trump, some of the working folks, the farmers, the miners in northern Minnesota, 650 miners were just laid off in taconite mining. Our farm community is on pins and needles because of these tariffs. And then when you go to war with Canada, whether it's energy or whether it's potash for fertilizer, these are fundamental inputs that are going to already drive up costs on very narrow margins. So yeah, it is almost inconceivable. Look, Chris, I don't know. You almost have to be an amateur psychologist on this. It's like Trump is stuck in the 80s. His music, his clothing, his thinking. He has been on this tariff thing forever, and every economist, conservative or liberal will tell you they just simply don't work. We use them strategically, but he doesn't fundamentally understand how trade works. It goes back to what I continue to say. I think the biggest myth perpetuated on this country is that Donald Trump understands anything about business. He's bankrupt every single one he's been into, and now he's bankrupting this country. So I appreciate you talking about this. This is a tax on working people that we've not seen in any of our lifetimes, and it is going to have dramatic effect.
You know, there are two follow-ups I want on that. One is, you know, you're in a state, it elected you governor, but you represented a district that actually voted for President Trump in 2016 that had a lot of Republicans when you were in Congress. You've spent a lot of time talking to folks in Minnesota, and again, there's, you know, it's not quite a swing state, but it's close enough. Have you ever encountered in the wild, I mean, really, just like out of the mouth of someone at a doorstep or a diner, like, I hate those Canadians who are ripping us off. We got to get back at them. Have you ever, I'm asking this. Have you ever,
no,
independent of President Trump, encountered that view in the wild?
Never, never. And I think, you know, it could be a bit of a stereotype or whatever. I find that it is about as close to any stereotype of being true. The decency of Canadians and the neighborliness and the being there.
It is really difficult to watch Tim Walz and not think, what could have been? What could have been? Like, really, we were so close. And especially with a collection of clips, a compilation rattling around in my mind lately that I think we just got to take a look at.
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is, under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out, when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having, on the short end of the stick, in terms of workers' rights.
It's almost like two people named Kamala Harris and Tim Walz were warning us about the tariffs, about Elon, about Trump, about JD, about the rest of their cabinet, and not enough people listened. Oh, God. But, and that's a tough but, we still have to fight. And I'm glad that Tim Walz is in this fight. I'm hoping to see more of Kamala Harris. I'd love to see a red state, red district, red city, red anything town hall out of the vice president. I think that'd bring a lot of attention that we need to bring to a lot of issues. We're certainly going to be bringing attention to as many issues as we possibly can on this show every day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to check out my interview with Cory Booker, which I strongly suggest you do, it's going to be either here or there. Take a look. It'd really mean a lot to me. Until next time, I'll see you soon.